They made it seem like you were the issue, didn't they? Every time something went wrong, somehow the blame circled back to you. But here's the truth. They'll never admit to you were never the problem. You were the threat. It's not because you were dangerous in the way they painted you to others. It's because you carried something they feared. Clarity, strength, and the ability to see through them. People like this don't attack you because you're weak. They attack you because you're strong enough to notice what they're hiding. You questioned what didn't make sense. You stood up when something wasn't fair. You refused to shrink yourself just to make them comfortable. And that terrifies someone whose control depends on keeping others small and silent. So they did what manipulators do best. They rewrote the story. They became the hero, the victim, or both. And you became the villain. They whispered to others that you were difficult, unstable, or toxic. They exaggerated your mistakes, twisted your words, and left out the parts of the story that made them look bad. And the people who didn't know the full picture believed it, because lies are easier to swallow than uncomfortable truths. They wanted you distracted by defending yourself, so you wouldn't notice the real game they were playing. Every accusation was a projection. Every insult was a confession. But when they said you were controlling, it was because they were controlling. When they said you were selfish, it was because they only acted in their own interest. The more you kept growing, the more their masks started to slip. That's why the attacks became more frequent, more desperate. Because you weren't just a threat to their ego, you were a threat to their version of reality. And here's the part they fear most. Once people start to see the truth for themselves, their entire narrative collapses. That's why they work so hard to make sure your reputation falls before their mask does. But remember, this being painted as the problem is often proof you're getting too close to the truth. It's proof that you're shaking the foundation they've built their control on. And no matter how loud their lies get, the truth has a way of echoing long after their voice is gone.